Hello. In this video, we will be discussing the previous year question paper of IIT JAM Biotechnology, and in this video, we will be discussing the section B. Okay. So, the first question, which of the following is or are true for auxins? So, what are auxins? So, auxins are responsible for promoting the stem elongation. Okay, they are responsible for maintaining the apical dominance. So what is apical dominance? So if suppose this is a stem, this is only promote the elongation of this apical stem, and they will inhibit the growth of these lateral bursts. So this is responsible for maintaining the apical dominance. So in these, which of the following are auxins? So here we know naphthalene acetic acid, yes, this is an auxin. Indole 3-butyric acid, yes, this is also an auxin. 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, yes. Indole 3 acetic acid, yes. These four are the correct answers for auxins. Here, naphthalene acetic acid and 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, these are the synthetic auxins, whereas indole 3-butyric acid and indole 3 acetic acids are the natural auxins. Okay, next question. Which of the following is true about photosynthesis? Option A, in C3 plants, the first organic product of carbon fixation is 3-phosphoglyceride. This is absolutely correct. In C3 plants, the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide is RUBP, ribulose bisphosphate, which accepts carbon dioxide and forms a this is a 5 carbon, and this is a 6 carbon product which is unstable, and then this is broken down into 3 phosphoglyceraldehyde and 3 phosphoglyceraldehyde into 2 molecules. Okay, so yes, the product of carbon fixation is 3 phosphoglyceraldehyde. A is the correct option. In C4 plants, the first organic product of carbon fixation is oxaloacetate. Yes, this is also the correct option. Here in C4 plants, the first product is the oxaloacetate. C. Cressulation acid metabolism occurs in succulent plants living in arid conditions. So what are the plants living in arid conditions? Arid conditions is place where there is a less availability of water and there is a high temperature. So in that condition, the plants have their stomata closed in the daytime and they will open their stomata in the night time, and they will store their carbon dioxide in the form of organic acid. Okay, that is known as cressulation acid metabolism. So they will store carbon dioxide and it will use it as an organic acid. Okay, carbon dioxide is used as an acid here. So this is also the correct option. D option, oxygen is generated from carbon dioxide. This is absolutely wrong. Oxygen here it is produced with the help of H2O. Okay. So this is the wrong option. Here A, B and C are the correct options. Next question. Which of the following are involved in the activation of cytotoxic T cells? Okay. So here first we need to understand a few basic terms. So here we have MHC class 1 and MHC class 2. Okay, so MHC class 1 is recognized by CD8 cells, cells of T cytotoxic cells, whereas the MHC class 2 are recognized by CD4 of T helper cells. Okay, so here it is asking involved in the activation of cytotoxic T cells. Here cytotoxic T cell is the TC1, which is recognized by the MHC class 1. So here the right answer is going to be MHC class 1, and also this MHC class 1 receptor will go and bind with the T cell via an antigen presenting cell. So here we will also have the T cell. Here we will have a T cell receptor where this MHC class 1 binds with its antigen. So here T cell receptor is also a correct option. Okay. Next question. DNA and RNA are acidic in nature due to the presence of pentose sugar, nitrogenous bases, phosphate group, large number of hydrogen bonds. This is a very easy answer. We all know that DNA is having a phosphate, sugar phosphate backbone, and the phosphate group is a highly acidic group, and which is responsible for the acidic nature of the DNA and also the negative charge of the DNA. DNA is actually a negatively charged molecule. It has got its negative charge with from the phosphate group. So phosphate is the correct answer. Protozoa are. So we know protozoa are a multi-cellular organisms. Okay. I'm so sorry. Protozoa are actually the unicellular organisms, and they are actually the eukaryotic organisms. So if they are multicellular, they cannot be prokaryotic because prokaryotes are the unicellular organisms. So they are eukaryotic and unicellular. Okay. This is for this type of questions, you need to remember the Whittaker classification. Which of the following is correct or are correct? Both glucose and fructose have the same molecular formula. So yes, this is the correct answer because glucose, fructose and galactose, the three have the same molecular formula, that is C6H12 and O6. Okay. The positions of the oxygen and carbon differ in the structures of glucose and fructose. So yes, this is correct because glucose and fructose differ in the oxygen at carbon 1 and carbon 2. Here in the case of glucose, we have the oxygen at carbon 1. Here we have other 6. Okay, this is the glucose, and in the case of fructose, we have the oxygen at the second carbon. So here it is present in the first carbon, here it is present in the second carbon in the case of fructose. So yes, the position of oxygen and carbon differ in the structures of glucose and fructose. So this is the correct option. Both glucose and fructose have the same physical properties. So this is wrong because glucose and fructose have different physical properties. Like glucose is highly soluble than glucose, and fructose is having the less melting point than the glucose. So they differ in their physical properties. This is wrong. Okay, both glucose and fructose are monosaccharides. So this is very simple. We know that glucose and fructose are the monosaccharides. So C is the wrong option. Okay, so which of the following gases function as a signaling molecules in human nervous system? So we know this is a very easy answer. Nitric oxide is involved, which transmits the signal from the presynaptic to the postsynaptic membrane, and the carbon monoxide. Okay, so carbon monoxide responsible for neurotransmission. It is responsible for cerebral vasodilation, and whenever there is a neural damage, and this helps in the signaling and helps in the repairing of that neural damage. Helium and argon are not involved in the signaling pathway. Coming to the section C, which is a numerical type questions. Okay, so first question, the generation time of E. coli is 20 minutes. If there are 10 to the power 6 E. coli present in exponentially growing synchronous culture, then the average time required to obtain final population of 4 into 10 to, this is actually 10 to the power 6 E. coli is. So here we need to use a formula which will help us determine the number of generation. So what is asked, the generation of E. coli time is given, we have 20 minutes. Okay, and we have the initial population of E. coli, that is 10 to the power 6, which is exponentially growing in a synchronous culture. Okay, then so we have to find the average time required to obtain the final population of 4 into 10 to the power 6. Okay, so here we will use the formula. Okay, so number of generation will be equal to log nt minus log n naught by log 2, which is equal to 0.3. Okay, so here nt is equal to the final concentration. What is the final concentration we need? That is 4 into 10 to the power 6. Okay, what is the initial concentration which is given? 10 to the power 6. Okay, divided by 0.3. So here n, number of generation, n is equal to log 4 into 10 to the power 6 minus log 10 to the power 6 divided by 0.3. Okay, so here we will be getting log 4 into 10 to the power 6 is 6.6 minus log 10 to the power 6 is 6 divided by 0.3, which is equal to 0.6 by 0.3, which will give 2. So number of generation is 2 and the time with for E. coli generation is 20 minutes. So how much time it is required to produce 4 into 10 to the power 6? So generation time is 20 minutes. So we are going to multiply 2 into 20 is equals to 40 minutes. So these E. coli are going to divide for 2 generations. So for each generation the time is 20 minutes. So we are going to multiply the 2 generations into 20 minutes, which is going to give us 40 minutes. So the time required to obtain final population of 4 into 10 to the power 6 E. coli is 40 minutes. Okay, next question. The volume in ml required to prepare 350 ml of 1x buffer solution from 50 times 5x concentrated buffer stock solution. So here a stock solution of 50x is given to us. Okay, so from that we need to prepare a 1x buffer solution and the volume is not given. Okay, the initial volume is not given and the final volume we need to prepare is 350 ml from a 5x concentrated stock solution. So for these we will be using a formula called C1 V1 is equal to C2 V2. Okay, so here C1 is the initial concentration of, this is the stock solution and this is the working solution which we need to prepare. Okay, so the stock solution given concentration is 50x. So 50x into C1 V1 is not given, the volume in ml is not given, so it is going to be X is equal to C2 is given, which is 1x, 1 into V2 is also given, which is 350 ml. Okay, so 50 x is equal to 350, so x is equals to 350 by 50, so x is equals to 7. So the volume required to prepare 350 ml 1x buffer solution from 50 times 5x concentrated buffer solution is 7 ml. Okay, next question. A compound microscope has its objective with linear magnification of 10. In order to achieve a final magnification of 100, the angular magnification of the eyepiece should be. So this is a very easy question. The total magnification actually depends upon the individual magnification of the lenses present. So which all are the lenses present here? We have eyepiece and we have the objective linear magnification lens. Okay, we have the objective and eyepiece here. So magnification, total magnification is equal to the magnification of objective lens into the eyepiece, magnification of eyepiece. Okay, so here the total magnification, the compound microscope has an objective with linear magnification of 10 in order to achieve a final magnification of 100. So total magnification given is 100 is equal to objective lens magnification given is 10 into, we don't know the magnification of eyepiece, which is going to be x. So x is equals to 100 by 10, which is equal to 10. So the magnification of eyepiece should be 10, so that the total magnification will be 100. Okay, coming to the next question. The decimal reduction time DRT of bacterial culture is 1 minute. If the suspension of the bacterial culture contains an initial population of 10 to the power 6, it has to be actually, yes, 10 to the power 6 cells, then the time required to reduce the number of bacteria to 10 by heat treatment is. So what is the decimal reduction time? It is actually the time when the bacterial or any population is reduced by its 90%. For example, we have 1000 bacterial population. The DRT of this bacterial population is, that is the decimal reduction time, is the time at which this population is reduced by its 90%, that is by to its 900. Oh, I'm so sorry. It is reduced to 100. Okay. So it is reduced by 90% and only the 100 bacterial population is remaining. So that is the DRT, the reduction in 90% of the population. So the DRT given is 1 minute. Okay, if the suspension of the bacterial culture contains initial population of 10 to the power 6, so initial concentration is 10 to the power 6 cells, then time in minutes required to reduce the number of bacteria to 10 by heat treatment is. So how much time it is required to decrease the number of bacteria to 10 by heat treatment? So for this we are having a formula of DRT is equal to time divided by log n naught minus log nf, that is initial population and the final population. So DRT is given here 1 minute, so here we have 1 is equal to the time. So what is the time here? the time we need to require to reduce. So it is x, we need to find the time, x divided by log initial concentration given is 10 to the power 6 minus log final concentration is log 10 to the power 1. Okay, so here this is the final population. Okay, now here we will be transferring these log values to here. So log 10 to the power 6 minus log 10 to the power 1 is equals to x. So log 10 to the power 6 is equal to 6 minus log 10 to the power 1 is 1, which is equal to 5. So the time required to reduce the number of bacteria to 10 by heat treatment is 5 minutes. We just need to remember the formula here, DRT formula. Okay. Last question. Variable number of tandem repeat locus has 15 different alleles. The number of genotypes possible in the population of this VNTR is. Okay, so here we need to actually find the number of genotypes. Okay, and the given is 15 different type of alleles. So we are having here the value of different type of alleles. So we are having a formula for this. So the number of genotype is equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2, where n is equal to the number of alleles. Okay, here n is the number of alleles which is already given in the question. So by using this formula we can find out the number of genotypes which can form. Okay, so what is n here? 15 into 15 plus 1 divided by 2, which will give 15 into 16 divided by 2, which is equal to 240 divided by 2, and this is going to give you 120. So the number of genotypes which are possible in a population for this VNTR is 120. Okay, so just we need to remember this formula in this question. Okay, hope this is clear to you. Thank you.